Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and I just got some background footage sweating my ass off in Minecraft. That's right, you heard it right here. That's going to be the gameplay that you see. But this video is about mostly just me reacting to the Nightmare Dungeon patch notes, which were released Friday afternoon. And there's definitely some interesting stuff in here. There's changes for, PvP and raids. I've talked about that at length, but there's also other stuff going on too. So let's go over the big kahuna team, the Nightmare Dungeon itself. Let's see the notes here. So, all right, I'll put on a voice. Something is still stirring in the dreaming, something malignant and croaking. It haunts the fitful sleep of Wallaroo and lingers into the waking hours, inspiring hatred and violence and malice. You must return to this conflicted world, venture back into the dreaming, and fight through the nightmare at its heart. I should have got water before recording this. So there's that word again, malice. We saw it at the end of the Wallaroo questline where Sybil mentions, malice lingers there even now, talking about Wallaroo, and I think I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that really means. The devs have gone on record and said that this dungeon, there are story elements that will set up Arc 5, so I mean, bring it on, It's like we'll be learning early about, or we'll get at least a clue, I'm sure. And I don't know, maybe malice is it. We'll have to see how it goes. So also in the notes it says, this is a new type of dungeon where up to 4 players work together to explore a maze patrolled by broken dreams. Use stealth and teamwork to avoid these invincible monsters, cleanse the negative energy, and defeat the malice that created it once and for all. Help Wallaroo awaken from its long nightmare and earn the powerful new Dream Reaver gear. So, invincible monsters. That doesn't sound good. Stealth and teamwork. That sounds interesting. This isn't going to be your average, Darkmoor style dungeon, though. It's going to be something way different. So it's going to be like a mini raid is how some of the KingsIsle employees have described it. So I think there's definitely going to be elements of challenge, trying to avoid these invincible monsters, as it says. And invincible monsters is that should be that's gonna be tough. Getting pulled, I would not assume is gonna be great. So yeah, and then the Dream Reaver gear will drop from this dungeon. The hats, robes, boots, and wands will drop from here. Hats, boots, and wands being best in slot, right next to their Jabalba counterparts that will also be dropping with this. Provided, of course, your guild can complete the raid, now that all of the crazy changes are being dropped and the raid is becoming, really, really hard again. Because just why not, right, team? The Nightmare Dungeon will originally be released in challenge mode with a standard mode soon after, so that's a bit interesting. I'm guessing they designed the whole thing just for challenge mode. And standard mode will be dropping probably soon. I would assume maybe after World's First. So we'll have to see how that goes, and I hope that the drops also come from standard mode. That would be nice. But when it drops, I will be streaming this. I will see who I can get together for a team, and we'll go for it. So they also have a list of known issues. I don't know why they are pushing this with these known issues in, but I guess it's there's nothing game breaking. So it says the process to develop this dungeon was extensive. There are a few known issues players should be aware of listed below. This dungeon is going to be quite a challenge to get through, so let us know what you see needs tweaking and what you like or dislike about the experience. So everything that they know is it's not super game breaking, but that's just what they know. And we know their track record at this point. Eon of Tavis you could cheese. Room of Regulars you could cheese for a while. So we'll have to see what happens here. So Currently known issues: no dungeon warning telling participants the nightmare requires 4 players. I think requiring that is interesting, and it'll be honestly good. I doubt this is going to be solo-level content, but maybe once the standard version drops, it will be. The timer still progresses while the voiceover plays, but will not progress for those who do not play the voiceover. So, timer. All right, they just dropped that in there, the word timer. So, like I said before, this is being treated as a mini raid. So, in challenge mode, I am assuming we are going to be timed. So this, working within the constraints of the timer, I think is going to be also an interesting little dynamic that will come with the dungeon. And then also, pet item cards are undisabling themselves after the player logs back in. So I guess that's hopefully they get a patch out for all of that pretty soon, like the following week. That would be kind of nice. Patch notes to go live with the dungeon. Spells and quests. This is just like most of this is just like bug fixes and whatnot. They apparently fixed Judge Veg and Joan Locke in certain quests, I guess. I don't know what it means. I never really paid attention, but they're finally getting rid of the triple or quadruple Freddy Dreamscape dialogue issue that would happen, and making sure it doesn't repeat. So that'll be a breath of fresh air. I won't have to spam spacebar anymore for it, more than once at least. And then Blade and Trap Gambits with damage as a result have had their conditional damage reduced. I talked about this at length over the course of this last week, so if you are looking for my take on that, I have videos from the 25th and 27th, so go watch those. But I think, okay, so their rationale for nerfing these Blade and Trap Gambits is because you can set them up while also buffing at the same time. So I guess they just wanted to tone those down. Couldn't tell you why, but you'll see the real goofy change is at the very bottom. So cost for regenerate tier 3 has been reduced. That is less meat moon that you have to do if you want to get regenerate to tier 5. Nova spells now have a top path and tier 4. I'm not sure what this top path is going to be, but I am assuming that the bottom path is going to be what we have currently, and that the top path is just going to, be standard damage, like all of the Arc 1 spells have been. So, Minotaur's bottom path damage and trap reduced, thank God. Going against a myth, it's just this spell would create so much pressure, and it should honestly move myth down maybe a column or two against schools that tend to shield a lot, in terms of how the matchup is rated, but we'll see how that ends up being. It does still, hit and remove shields and put on traps, so I guess we'll see. Hero Chrysalis damage reduced. That was a long time coming. We sort of knew that it was going to get nerfed, and it's been out of meta at max level for a little while, but at Grand and Legendary, it's like one of those with a buff could just straight up kill if somebody were to troll detonate. So it's been a long time coming, but it needed to happen. They have also increased the damage and blade values for Reap the Whirlwind, Storm Shark's bottom path, Triton's bottom path, and Iron Sultan. So Reap the Whirlwind is the Storm Rochambeau that counters damage over times, unprotected damage over times, and what I'm guessing is going to happen here is the Storm Blades are going to get stronger, which I think is going to be interesting. I probably will start carrying a couple on my Storm if I can fit them into the deck somewhere, so because it is a better lower pip counter than Lightning Bats. Although the only problem is, it does cost 3 pips as opposed to 2, which is sort of the whole allure of using bats. So, I guess we'll really just have to see. Maybe I don't pack it after all, because I just remembered Kraken isn't getting changed anytime soon, so yeah, maybe it's a redundant change, but Storm Shark's bottom path, I don't really know how much they can buff this. That'd be kind of crazy, because right now it does do, honestly, a lot for a 3-pip spell, but we'll see what they do in the future. The Triton bottom path, it always did just meat damage, so I hope the buff on that is pretty substantial, so that way it can be a better heal counter. And then Iron Sultan's damage is also coming up. I don't know if this will be hitting 1,000, but if so, like, it's on the table to be used in many more Storm decks, so interested to be using that. But here is where the change gets goofy. Shield Gambits have been buffed to meet new valuation. This includes Frost Beetle's bottom path, good. Colossus's bottom path, good. Kelvin's Icy Gaze, good. But Doom Oni and Fantastic Djinn are also in there. And that is Death's Shield Gambit and Myth's Shield Gambit. So, as glad as I am about Ice's, main identity and Arsion getting buffed, it came at the cost of two schools that didn't need a buff getting one. So, yeah, they were apparently double nerfed by accident the last time that they were nerfed, and I don't know why they took this long to change them, but the fact that they were double nerfed and they were still seeing use and were still the best gambits in the game, I don't know why they're getting buffed. It's like, I think the devs should have just left Death Oni and Myth Djinn where they were. They should have buffed Ice Scion, though. I will happily take that. But the others, it's like those schools already have no shortage of tools to win matches, so I guess we'll just have to see. The meta that this creates, it's really just going to be a direct buff to Death and Myth, so. Combat and bosses, Pendragon Rematch, Guild Museum, yada yada. Damage stat maximums for dual schooling have been modified such that lower DPP schools will not exceed their own school's damage output. So, yeah. Like, off-schooling is getting just totally nuked. It's dead in the water the moment this drops in advanced content, so it's gone. The age of dual schooling is over. Fixed late cheat and Quartermain setup for Invader Fleet's fights. The Quartermain setup, to my knowledge, is 2 blades and 2 weaknesses. So, I've tried it before and that worked, so we'll have to see what they mean by fixed. Fixed incorrect Pearson accuracy values for various Wallaroo mobs. Interesting. Added Archmastery stats to Decathlon mobs. That's going to make Decathlon, not a joke anymore. So, we'll have to see how that goes. Modified some level 170 henchmen. Pretty cool. Fixed an issue with Montgomery Standard where players were able to skip the initial 2 fights. So, not only is this getting fixed, but I also assume that they are going to be making him unkillable again. Oh yeah, I just read down the list. Montgomery Standard now immune as expected. So, y'all have maybe a day or 2 to farm for your Dream Reaver decks. So, go do that, like the moment you see it. So, fixed issue with Luigi Di Mario where he was reacting to his own spellcasts. I think I might have streamed it once where he centaured 4 times in a row. I could be wrong, but yeah, he was reacting to his own spells. So, fixed an issue with Arcane Toad and Freddy where they incorrectly reacted to detonates. What this means is, if you were to use Raging Bull in the Freddy's Dreamscape fight, it would it would act as a heal and it would counter their growth cheat. So, kind of sad to see it go, but it was never intended to begin with. Montgomery and the Invader fleets can now properly drop Wallaroo spell limits. That is good, but the problem is, these suck to farm. I hope the Nightmare drops plenty of those. Montgomery standing now immune as expected. Went over that. Montgomery challenge mode school and deck has been modified. I actually did some testing with Cam, one of the developers, and it was impossible. It's I guess we'll see how they modified it. I hope it's a pretty substantial nerf. Added combat music in Dreamscape Despair Battle. Stat maximums for advanced content have been increased to account for new level 170 gear. Most schools are going up by about 5 damage, and I think a couple pierce, but I could be wrong there. PvP resist limit function has been increased, so this does not mean the advanced content resist caps are going up. It just means the old intersection where you'd see diminishing returns that really only affected ice. like our resist would get curved from 80 to 73, so it's like that is finally gone. And we can have 80 resist for real. So that's good. Gear and recipes. Fix badge requirements on pins. I think like the wrong badges were unlocking pins. I could be wrong. Remove no trade from Shabalba shard reagent. That's really good because I have a lot of shards saved up on different characters, and once I win the raid once after the patch, it's like, man, I don't know. Like, I hope I have enough shards for that. Groundhog Pet is now giftable as intended. Neat. Azteca level 170 raid upgrade. Recipes now include hats, robes, boots, and wands. The robes, the Hunhao robes, and the Shabalba boots and wands are going to be best in slot for PvP. So, just to keep in mind. Sandals and Cowl of the Sentinel are now dyeable at all tiers. Cool. Miscellaneous can pick up Frosty Trina once it's been placed at home. Neat. And, oh, this is a funny one. Mini Pumpkin and PB Cookie pet snacks are no longer blank. This was kind of funny. Like, when I was playing through, and these just totally blank snacks that would drop. I hope that they give, like, solid amounts of, like, pet stats. So that way you could farm higher level pet snacks just in Wallaroo. I think that would be really, really cool. And there's also been various monstrology fixes, so what a way to cap it off, chat. So there's also going to be a contest for the first team that can beat the Nightmare in challenge mode. It starts from the release of the dungeon until February 4th at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will review entries and announce the winners on February 8th, who will become world's first. So Kyle writes, "We've never done something like this before, but it's about time we did. Wizards, get your wands and gear ready. Who will be the first in the world to complete the Nightmare Dungeon and earn the Bad Dream Reaver badge? Gather your team, make your way through the dungeon, best the new mechanics, and let's see who can complete the dungeon to win the ultimate prize. The Nightmare Dungeon will originally be released in challenge mode with a standard mode soon after, so be prepared for a challenge. Keep in mind this is a competition, you do not need to participate. However, if you do, you may reap the rewards." So how to enter? To officially prove you finished the dungeon, use hashtag Wizard101 and World's First Nightmare on social media, Twitter or Facebook, with screenshots of you and your squad finishing the dungeon. Screenshot either the victory pop-up or you with a Bad Dream Reaper badge once you complete the dungeon. And the rules are, obviously no cheating, and then have fun and good luck, competitors. For the rewards, the world's first prizes, one entire set of Dream Reaver gear, your school's choice. Cool. The Outback Rover mount, which is, I assume, pretty cool. And then 10,000 crowns. That is alluring. I will definitely try and do this myself. Second place prizes, randomly chosen Outback Rover mount and 5,000 crowns. So, neat. So this is an interesting little competition, but I am excited. I will try my best. I'll see who I can get to play with me. Might just be friends, might be other content creators. I'll see who's up for it. And yeah, I'll see y'all when I stream, when the dungeon drops. Yeah, that will wrap up the patch notes for the Nightmare Dungeon. This is coming out this week. It could be even as soon as tomorrow. We saw that they just randomly dropped Wallaroo on our foreheads on a Monday, so who knows? Maybe there'll be some random midday maintenance, and that'll be how you know it's here. So, yeah. And to all of my people doing raids, especially the people that are running the off-school strat, that gets like really, really good times and whatnot, this is sort of y'all's last hurrah. I wish they weren't doing all that, but raid as much as you can in these next few days. That's all I'm gonna say. I wish the devs would go back on those changes, but it's Ratbeard. What can you do? So, thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm, and I will see y'all